Professor
Yeah,
Uche.
I just finished the ancient manuscripts and the ancient knowledge of Africa. I wish you were there. You could have, all of you know about this, because it's extraordinary amount of knowledge that this Western colonialists stole, and then they say to us, we don't know anything. They are brutal. Honestly, I'm sick actually, what they have done to us. And I hope, I wish you could have heard it. And it's relevant to you too, to what you're trying to do, my brother. This is, if we want a university, an African university, not a university in Africa, we really need to go back to the ancient manuscripts and also understand the languages in which they were written. You not believe. You could even do it in go and read. Just call it Ethiopian ancient manuscripts, and Wikipedia. Just look at how many libraries across the world have stolen all this extraordinary knowledge. Everything, astronomy, mathematics.
Is there any place we can go to access some of these manuscripts that you've talked about?
Yes.
I mean, I know you said Wikipedia, but I mean, can we get the full text?
Can I just tell you the Library of Congress, Howard University in America? There are many places there. In Canada, in Rome, in Paris, in London, all over the Western world. All these manuscripts have been taken, and they have not returned them. If they still continue to take, even recently they took some. Because what they do is often the people who hold them, they give them money and they corrupt them, as you know, and then they send these manuscripts. So we have a very serious challenge. This is not just only Ethiopia. The ancient manuscripts of Africa, there are many, from Mali to Dogon. Many things have happened to us. So we really need to excavate it, really find it, and even find a way that where we educate ourselves, our young people, so that they can revive the whole system of education on every sphere that what Africans have done, then counter all these strange things that's happening to our people. Look what's happening in America now. Coronavirus or racism is again. I mean, I can't believe it. When I was a young boy, I was in America. I went to Columbia University, and I used to go to Mississippi, Tennessee. We used to have a student organization for Black youth. There were no Ivy League university students, African Americans. I had to say to the Dean Coleman, I said, look, you need to give us so that we can bring African Americans. They have to come. And then, trust me, when they are there in the university, they are bright. But the problem is they tell us we're not bright. This is very complicated. I have to go to the Black colleges, Mississippi, Tennessee, all these places. I was doing that when I was a young boy. So I cannot believe after so many years now, nearly 50 years now, still racism exists as it was existing when I was the only Black student in my class at that time. Can you imagine?
At Columbia?
I mean, yeah. Sorry about this, but what can I say?
Wow.
Let me don't allow me to say many things.
No, it's welcome. I mean, the meeting is over, and everyone knows it's over. So I know people have questions or they want to just hang out and chat and that's fine. But the meeting is officially over. Mm-hmm.
But just summarize to me what's going on. What's the stage? Just let me not talk. You tell me. You tell me, my brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so essentially, we discussed what happened to George Floyd and use that as a symbolism for how Africans feel all over the world, and which is to say that Africans have been screaming for help, but we are not. No one is listening to us, and that was exactly what happened to George Floyd. His hands were tied behind his back. He was crying for help, and still the knee choked him to death. And that is how Africans feel around the world, whether it's in Brazil, whether it's in America, even on the continent, it doesn't matter. And so I humbly offer to two ideas, and that is one, we must come together and make demands for change, which is happening. And we can do that in different ways, socially, politically, in the ivory towers, in education, and so on and so forth. We must come together and make those demands. But also, I think even more importantly, again, in my humble opinion, is that we have to come together and work together. We have to support each other. So I feel like we're not doing enough for ourselves. And that's why it's very refreshing for me to hear that you are taking time to find out about these these ancient African manuscripts so that we can make them available to our children. It's very sad because we don't learn African history. We don't learn about ourselves, and not just the manuscripts that you brought up, even our art. I mean, you know about the beautiful African art that is in Europe.
Absolutely.
So we have our children growing up. They don't get to appreciate their own art, the art from their ancestors. They don't learn about that.
You're absolutely right.
It's all in France, in the UK, and many parts of Europe. This is wickedness, in my humble opinion. We have little children can't appreciate who they are because there is nothing for them to learn from. You know, so we need to bring back those artwork, those art pieces, and put them in Africa, where our children can access them and learn about themselves. We need to bring back those ancient manuscripts so that our scholars can learn about those things and make them public again, so we can use them for our own development. So that's what we discussed today, and I can also talk to you a little bit more after this meeting. Thank you, Professor Muche, for coming on board.
Yeah, thank you so much, all of you. I appreciate you all for engaging. Very important that we do. We must engage. We must learn to work with each other and really prevent this kind of thing happening ever. That what happened to George Floyd is not. It's horrible. I mean, it's heartbreaking still. So it's not good. But we mustn't just leave it like that. There must be some action taken. That those people who did it, it's not just something that we can let them just go on. No, we must be together on it. Show African unity very strongly, I think. And I think what you're doing is very good. I think, but also let's continue the university side. Let's set it up properly, and then see if we could, as you rightly put it, we could then be. It could be exemplary also, and we can also. We also go and go through all the routes we have wherever they are, both in Africa and wherever they put them in different libraries across the world. We should find what these are and some of the language. That's why I see our brother Professor Sande Ojo. He wants this inclusive indigenous language technology institute. What he wants is actually digitalizing all not only our languages, but also recognizing that we have our own alphabets, our own calendars, our own many things. What didn't Africa have? Africa created everything. I mean, but then, as you rightly put it, nobody acknowledges it. Even ourselves don't acknowledge it. Even if those guys don't acknowledge us, we should be teaching our children to say from kindergarten to whatever the level they go to school, that they are confidently, proudly African. You know, they should believe they are beautiful, they are everything. It's very, very important that we are self-confident, proud, dignity, right? I think we need to have that self-belief now, because if we don't do that, then they will continue to attack us. Even some of the black police, African-American police, side with those brutal police, white police. So they even support racism. I mean, this is horrible. So my brother, we need to change this completely. And my mindset shift, paradigm shift is needed much more. It's too late, you know. I mean, we had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. I mean, in 1968, I was a young boy. I was in the United States when Martin Luther King passed. And I remember how I was in tears. I'm sincerely telling you. I just couldn't believe it. I was in Englewood, New Jersey. I was in Dwight Morrow High School. I was there. The Americans took me there. You know, the Peace Corps. There was a World Youth Forum or something like that. And they say you are number one, you go. But whatever happens, I didn't like the way our African Americans have been treated. I sincerely mean it, that it's not right. And they don't deserve it. I know they have survived with all this, I mean, all these horrible things that happened to them. They're still there. They're still active. But we need to also support them strongly. Not only them, as you rightly put it, in wherever the where our Africans are, in Brazil, in everywhere. I mean, Brazil now we have a right-wing government which is not, which it doesn't even observe the rule of coronavirus now. I mean, and who is dying? Our own people are dying. You see, in America, more African Americans are dying. That's what I read. It's scary, my brother. So let's see what we could do. By the grace of God, we'll make it. But I really appreciate what you are trying to do, and I just hope we'll all support you, and I'll do the best I can to support you too. And it's very necessary because it has been neglected. Now it is a time to really revive it. In fact, it was too late. It should have been done yesterday. But let's not make it postpone it to tomorrow. Let's do it today.